It's precisely 1:15. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Sharifa Tahir. Headlines. It has been planned to provide vaccines to the 10.45 million people of the country's population. The second dose of the Sinopharm vaccines will commence from Sunday. Payment of 5,000 rupees for the Samurdhi beneficiary families is being conducted island-wide. Fire-stricken MV Express Pearl being towed into deeper seas. The COVID deaths in the country exceeds 1,500. News overseas, China's Sinovac vaccine gets WHO emergency approval. Local news in detail now. State Minister Professor Channa Jayasumana says that plans have been made to provide COVID vaccines to the 10.45 million people of the country's population. At a news briefing held at the Information Department, he said that necessary measures were taken since the month of last August to obtain vaccines. We have received 500,000 vaccines in the country by January. The vaccination program commenced on the 29th of the same month. The second dose of the Sinopharm vaccine will be administered from Sunday. Director General of Samurdhi Bandula Tilakasiri says that payment of 5,000 rupee allowance for Samurdhi beneficiary families are being conducted. Measures have been taken to provide this allowance by visiting their doorstep. The payment will be given to nearly 1.7 million Samurdhi beneficiary families. Meanwhile, district secretaries point out that the payment of 5,000 rupees was conducted in all districts, including Colombo, Anuradhapura, Matale, Mathara, Gaul and Nuwara this morning. A team of Sri Lanka Navy boarded vessel this morning to join the Salvo team to tow it away from Sri Lankan capital. Yesterday, the Salvo team members had boarded the container ship after dousing the Inferno. Salvage operations are being led by the Dutch company Smit, which had sent specialist firefighting tugs. Meanwhile, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa directed the chairman of Marine Environment Protection Authority to tow the vessel into deeper seas in order to prevent further marine pollution. The instructions were given during a special meeting held at the Presidential Secretariat yesterday. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation giving you the news.
Receive early cash advances and an unmatchable bonus at maturity from Sri Lanka Insurance Early Cash.
Continuing with more stories here at home. 2,877 corona-infected persons have been identified from the country this morning. The Director General of Health Services confirmed that Sri Lanka has reported 43 more deaths related to COVID-19 pandemic yesterday. As per the Department of Government Information, the reported deaths had occurred between the 20th of May and the 1st of June. Accordingly, the total number of deaths due to COVID-19 infection in Sri Lanka has risen to 1,527. A program to identify the persons who are arriving for essential service was implemented in 52 police stations in the Western Province this morning. 1,500 police officers were deployed for the program, which started from 6:30 to 9:30 a.m. this morning. A white color sticker was pasted in vehicles which were inspected. That's on local news.
Finished? You have one more hour to write the exam.
Yes, sir. Always early.
Receive early cash advances and an unmatchable bonus at maturity from Sri Lanka Insurance Early Cash.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
On the main news story, State Minister Mohan De Silva says that a systematic regulatory program will be implemented in organic fertilizer production. He said all organic fertilizer manufacturers should be registered at the National Fertilizer Secretariat Office. He also stated that the office will be issued a certificate for the standard organic fertilizer. Another round of discussions will be held today under the patronage of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa to implement a program to expand organic fertilizer.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
And on Watchlight, the Consumer Affairs Authority has implemented a program to observe the mobile traders who are selling vegetables by visiting the doorstep of the public. This decision has been taken as the authority has received several complaints claiming that some traders are selling vegetables at high prices. The authority stated that an investigation conducted by them, such traders were strictly advised. Information has also been received that low-weight cylinders are being sold in the Colombo area. In a raid conducted in the Pamankada area, 12 such low-weight cylinders have been found. The authorities said that stern legal action will be taken against such traders. That came to you on Watchlight. Moving on to world news headlines. China's Sinovac vaccine gets WHO emergency approval. State extends lockdown to curb outbreak. Huawei operating system coming to smartphones in Asia. World news in detail now. The World Health Organization has approved China's Sinovac COVID vaccine for emergency use. The WHO said it prevented symptomatic disease in 51% of those vaccinated and prevented severe symptoms and hospitalization in 100% of samples. Some evidence and data gaps are still lacking, though, according to WHO experts. It is the second Chinese vaccine to receive the green light from the WHO after Sinopharm. The approval opens the door for the jab to be used in the COVAX program, which aims to ensure fair access to vaccines. The Australian state of Victoria will extend its lockdown by another week as authorities battle to control a growing virus outbreak. Officials say people have been catching the virus from fleeting encounters in a Melbourne outbreak of the B16171 strain, now named the Gamma variant by the World Health Organization. Australia's second most populous state will now be locked down until the 10th of June. It's a fourth shutdown endured by residents so far in the pandemic. Finally, on world news, an update of Harmony OS, the operating system developed by Huawei, means it will now be installed in a wider range of products, including its smartphones. It is due to roll out across Asia following a launch event on the 2nd of June. There is no data for a global launch yet. A trade ban imposed by the US last year effectively prevented Huawei devices from working fully with Google's Android platform because it blocked access to essential apps like Gmail. However, Huawei said it did not consider Harmony to be a replacement for Android, which accounted for 85.4% of smartphones shipped in 2019. That's on world news. Moving on to development news. The Health Ministry has donated essential equipment valued at 10.3 million rupees to the Ambilipitia District Hospital. Chairman of the Sabaragamuwa Provincial Council, Kanchana Jayaratne, officially handed over a donation to the director of the hospital, specialist Dr. Samantha Rajapaksha, yesterday. That's on development news.
Sports News is brought to you by...
When Aya bought a motorbike, he bought 2 helmets. So sweet of him. I'm sure the other one is for me.
In whatever we do, we Sri Lankans are always thinking of others. When we get Munchie Super Cream Crackers, they're not just for ourselves. Munchie Super Cream Cracker. Super kiyanne nikan neveyi.
Sports Minister Nama Rajapaksha has donated finances to the National Shooting Sports Federation to uplift the skills and talents of shooting sportsmen and women in order to gain national and international victories by shooting events. A relevant agreement was signed at the newly constructed National Shooting Centre in Kohuwala. More on sports. The 2027 Men's ODI World Cup will feature 14 teams after the ICC board decided to expand the quadrennial tournament in its next cycle of events. The decision came after a meeting yesterday amid a raft of significant changes to the ICC events calendar from 2023 to 2031, including an expanded 20-team men's T20 World Cup to be held every 2 years and a return of the 50-over Champions Trophy. That's on Sports News.
My wife always sets a full lunch table even if it's just the two of us. She always expects people to drop by, like maybe the army.
In whatever we do, we Sri Lankans are always thinking of others. When we get Munchie Super Cream Crackers, they're not just for ourselves. Munchie Super Cream Cracker. Super kiyanne nikan නෙවෙයි.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
The Commercial Bank of Ceylon has once again been declared the best bank in Sri Lanka at the 2021 Finance Asia Country Awards, taking its place among global and regional giants adjudged the best domestic banks in their respective countries. This is the 10th occasion that Commercial Bank has been bestowed this prestigious accolade by Finance Asia, which is acknowledged as the presenter of one of the best-known and most credible sets of awards in Asia's financial services industry.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news. Courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
The Central Bank of Sri Lanka has requested licensed commercial banks and licensed specialized banks to provide concessions to borrowers affected by COVID-19 outbreak. The decision has been taken in consideration of the difficulties faced by the borrowers of licensed banks due to the third wave of the pandemic, the CBSL said in a statement.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather Report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
Another weather update. The Met Department says showers will occur at times in western Sabaragamuwa, central provinces and in Galle and Matara districts. Fairly heavy falls, about 50 millimeters, can be expected at some places in western and Sabaragamuwa provinces and in Galle, Matara, Nuwara districts. Showers or thunder showers may occur at several places elsewhere during the evening or night. Weather Report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
Back to the headlines. It has been planned to provide vaccines to the 10.45 million people of the country's population. The second dose of the Sinopharm vaccine will commence from Sunday. Payment of 5,000 rupees for the Samurdhi beneficiary facilities is being conducted island-wide. Fire-stricken MV Express Pearl being towed into deeper seas. The COVID deaths in the country exceeds 1,500. News overseas. China's Sinovac vaccine gets WHO emergency approval. With that, we conclude the afternoon bulletin of news.